So my name is Patrice and I am in Austin, Texas, which has been my winter home for many, many years. I'm originally from the Northeast, and I'm the owner of a place called Reiki Yoga Chant and the Wildflower Gardener in the mountains of Woodstock, New York. And thank you, Olga, for asking me to share. I'm going to be 65 in about 5 days, and I I've been part of the 12-step programs for over 40 years. They really have saved my life. And I found UA about 7 or 8 years ago. Wow, yeah, probably about eight years ago. And I call it, and what I've heard it called before, soon into the meetings, was the mother of all 12-step meetings. Because unlike the other meetings, which are really great, I have my food meeting, I have my food thing and Alan on those, but it's like putting down an addiction. But with UA, it's like being accountable and really living my dream. And why am I not doing that? And so that made me take it like a magnifying glass to my behavior in life, how I was living my life, how I was giving away my time. I wrote down a couple notes of the symptoms that really stood out for me. But before I begin, I would like to read the prosperity prayer, which is one of my favorite prayers, and I edit it. I'm a playwright, actress, and I own my own retreat center and musician. So I always tend to tweak things a little bit artistically or whatever. So this prosperity prayer is my unique little version. It says, "Dear God, I surrender my financial affairs and my life concerns to your divine care and love. I ask that you remove my worries, anxieties, and fears and false beliefs about money and my life and replace them with faith. Help me to let go of my inherited survival archetype from the generation of women in my life. I pray to know that abundance and prosperity are my true state of being. I have only to look at nature to see the proof of the abundance you provide. Help me to be grateful for all that I now have in my life. I know my purpose in life. I know my gift, my beautiful voice and my spirit, and I'm here to break the cycle of untruths so that I can thrive as an incredible woman, an artist that has learned so much from all the adversities in my life. I have a story to tell and to serve through my creativity and be abundant doing it." So I love that because, well, a little bit about my story. I'm the youngest of 7 children. My dad was Greek. My mom was Irish, kind of a lethal combination as far as lots of parties and strong personalities. And I'm also part French from my father's side. But my mom and dad grew up in the Depression. My dad was born in 1918 and my mom in 1920. And so the reason that I kind of edited it to, I want to break the archetype. I want to break the survival archetype because I watched, for some reason, of all my brothers and sisters, and I say this humbly, I guess I'm the most free-spirited and breaking out of the usual way of thinking. I have a brother that's retired. He's a lawyer. Another brother's a producer. Everybody's got a home. They worked really hard. We have a good work ethic. But my older sister, who was really my savings grace, committed suicide, and that radically changed my life. And I went to see a guru. And the guru said to me, it's a good thing that you're here. You can either, be suffering and get addicted to something, or else you can create a life of service and learn from this pain and adversity that has come into your life. It can be a very auspicious event rather than something that, can drown you. And so my twin sister and other family members who I love dearly, and that's why I've been in Al-Anon for so long, seem to, in some ways, create the same, spinning in the same circle of the generation of the paradigm of the my mom and dad suffering, work hard, burnout, all that. You can't see around my room, but in Austin, wherever I go, I have pictures of gurus and spiritual teachers, because one of the tools in UA is look to what supports you and serves you. What do they have that you want? I know from being in close proximity to the Dalai Lama, from working with some really incredible people in the spiritual community, that I want that. I want to adhere myself to those laws. So because of that, and what I love about the 12-step program, the first 3 steps, no matter how long I've been in the program, continually surrendering my will and listening to God. My second one-woman show, when I did something that was off Broadway, was called It's My Dance, and it was about changing the dance, because everything in society that I see a lot and I grew up with is do fear-based reality, not listen. I do have the right to be a musician and be prosperous doing it. I do have the right to live a life that's outside of the box, and I will be taken care of. So that's what I've lived by. And how do I relate it to the symptoms, which really hit home for me when I first read them? Was the one is giving away my time. When I first came into the program, oh my God, I learned so much as a little girl to take care of my mom, who was borderline schizophrenic. She was like addicted to narcotics like Elvis Presley, with her little black bag by her bed. And she had a really rough childhood. So I learned to take care of people from a very early age. And then when I went out to do my singing and my opera training, even though my mom did support that somewhat, I'd always get like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of support from it. So I would never really trust and be really confident out there totally. As a musician, I had to battle what I call the committee that shows up when I get on stage in my head. And so when I got into the program and I looked at this symptom, giving away my time, well, anybody that needed any help, whether it was a retreat center or whatever there, I was the first person up there to help them, to exhaust myself. And then I left very little time for my dream. And when I looked at that, I realized that I had spent a good part of my life doing that. Because I learned that was a learned behavior. That was not balanced. That was not self-care. So I switched that around. When I see that kind of, when I know I have a really good work ethic, but when I see someone that's going to really feed off that part of me that could go really extreme, I back off and I go, oh, nope, learn that lesson, So my form of self-care, I actually call it radical self-care, because that makes it actually balanced in my reality. When I first went to my first workshop in Lower Manhattan, I was really struck by the speaker, because the speaker said, I had very little money when I got into the program, but my sponsor said to me, no matter what you do, go get a massage. Go get a massage, at least a half an hour, like, a week. If you can do that, just do that. So you can actually get into your body and be present and feel like what it's like to receive. Because I just grew up with my mother's, like, this is what she would say. money burns a hole in your pocket. Save as much as you can and leave a little piece of cheese for yourself. That's all you need. I mean, what kind of reality is that? You know what I mean? I just, that's what and I don't say that meanly, but that's, you know, what the fear that I grew up in with my mom. What I have to say that was really good about my family is that I'm one of those women that actually designed and helped build my own tiny house when it was really hip before I bought my retreat center, which is partially off the grid, which I'm trying to get to be completely off the grid. Is in my family, we always had a huge garden because we had 9 people in the house. And my mom would have a root cellar. There would never be any waste. We'd always put that, you know, conserve all our food. And there's a good thing, especially in this day and age. In this day and age, it's hip. Back then, that was just a reality that I grew up with, which is actually a good thing that I brought into my my reality. So that's my note about that's the one that really sticks out a lot. And what I want to say about this is it really is a disease for me because you know, as a kid, you know, you always hear like when you're a kid, you're like a sponge and it kind of goes like almost in your DNA, right? So if I don't stick close to the program, all that stuff comes back. Like even like the tools of like doing your numbers, like, you know, I'm going cross country back home early because I just can't live in Austin anymore. I really feel called to be back in my my home year round, and I've been wanting to make that happen, and it's going to happen this year. But even when I do my numbers and everything, I get obsessive compulsive about that. Like, oh my God, do I have enough money for that? Oh, this, that, this. And that is just, you know, that's my mom. That's a generational thinking that comes into play when I know what my acting teacher who introduced me to this program said, like Eckhart Tolle, if you really are in the divine flow, that law that I'm talking about, that's different from when I grew up, then what you need will show up exactly when you need it and not a minute before. I love that quote. I mean, I'm more of a planner because I like camp and I have a little car on wheels kind of thing. And I like to hear the ocean. And that's another reason why I like to do it that way, because I love being close to nature. But okay, how much time do I have?
I think you have about 6 more minutes.
Okay. So so I want to say something very current because I feel really humbled about being on this program and asking if there's anyone here from Ukraine or just all over the world. Is no matter what your adversity is, the common thread I think we have as human beings is how does your faith or whatever you believe in carry you through? You know, what the adversities, how do you look at it? My recovery that's been the most profound to me, and I feel kind of emotional saying it, is that I see all my brothers and sisters who I love dearly. They're all either on antidepressants, not that that's a bad thing. They're all functioning alcoholics. They're all, you know, they have their way of coping. And even though it's been really, really challenging, my coping mechanism is to have a daily spiritual practice. So when I go, even when I wake up with the density of all the adversity in my life, of which there has been a lot, you know, I mean, my husband, who I love dearly, passed away. I miscarried at 5 months. I can't have children anymore because I had cancer. You know, I lost a house. I lost, you know, just a lot of different things have just been really, really intense in my life. And I feel the density of all that emotional trauma. And wouldn't call myself depressed, but I do wake up in the morning and I feel all of what I've gone through. And instead of entertaining the ego and the mind about all of that, I say, before my feet hit the floor, I say a list of gratitude. When I go to bed at night, I say a list of gratitude. That doesn't mean that I don't feel these feelings. It just means that it's a way, it's my medicine. My medicine is my God walks. My medicine is sponsoring people in this program. My medicine is my music. I sing at the Center for Spiritual Living. I'm a jazz singer with the New York Jazz Trio. I put on shows, and everything I do has a storyline and a thread of, yes, the adversities, but how do we come through it, and how can we be of service to other human beings on the planet? Yeah, and I want to do that more and more full time, because I've always done it part time. I feel a little sad at sometimes that I didn't really make it in a huge level of my career as a recording artist, but I was signed by a guy from Capitol Records. I do have 4 CDs. I was in a couple movies with like Jane Fonda and all these different people as extras or musicians, and I've had a pretty cool career. But I guess I'm just meant to, give on whatever level God wants me to in my workshops and smaller workshops, and concerts. I'm doing a little concert this weekend here in Austin. So I guess that's about it. I feel just so grateful for this program. Oh, this is what I want to end with. Before I came into the program as an actress and a playwright, I would crash and burn. I'd hire a producer, a publicist. I do all these things, and then I wouldn't hardly have a place to sleep. Now I can, I have this beautiful retreat center. I have a little Airbnb that's an extra studio that I renovated. That pays my mortgage. I do my work. It gave me like the stability to think in a grounded way, and also but also really sink into the belief of this other, law of the divine. And the combination of the two has brought me more prosperity in my life than I've really ever dreamed that could really happen. I just feel so blessed. I mean, I have a little farmhouse just an hour and 45 minutes north of Manhattan, and I bought it for $185. It's now valued at $425, and it's just the most beautiful mountain house with an old historic barn that, as a tiny house builder woman, I renovated, got my barn that was going this way. Now I can have house concerts in it, and it's beautiful. So I could go on and on, but thank you guys very much for asking me to be your speaker, and that's it.